This is Akojopo News, 88.7 FM, the people's voice.
This is Kunle Amzat Studio, Akojopo 88.7 FM. Welcome to News Around the World.
Good evening, welcome to News Around the World on Akojopo 88.7 FM Ibadan, the most listened to radio station. I am Wuraola Yusuf. The headlines: Federal government automates civil servant postings, leave, promotions. Ibadan residents express concerns over rising or tuition fees. Zelensky arrives United Kingdom ahead of meeting Prime Minister Bonham. ICE plans to target Haitians as temporary protected status set to end. Midfielder Payne targets back-to-back titles with Super Falcons. And now the details. The federal government has launched the human resource modules of the Integrated Personal and Payroll Information System (IPPIS), introducing a fully digital platform that will automate staff postings, promotions, leave application, and other personnel processes across the federal civil service. The head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mrs. Didi Esther Jack, while speaking at the official IPPIS Go-Live ceremony in Abuja today, said the new platform marked a major milestone in the government's drive to build a modern, efficient, and technology-driven public service in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Mrs. Jack said the platform would replace manual human resource processes with an integrated digital system covering the entire workforce lifecycle, adding that integrating all personnel functions into a single platform would eliminate duplication, improve records, reduce errors and delays while strengthening transparency and accountability. The House of Representatives Committee investigating the operations of the controversial Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council (PFIPC) has directed Inspector General of Police IGP Olatunji Disu to produce a self-acclaimed Director General of the organization, Mr. Adeyemi Adeniyi, before it on Wednesday. The directive was issued during the resumed investigative hearing today at the National Assembly Complex, Abuja, where the IGP, represented by Assistant Commissioner of Police Bashir Abdullahi, appeared before the committee and was instructed to ensure Mr. Adeyemi's appearance by noon on Wednesday to assist the lawmakers in their ongoing investigation into the activities of the organization. The committee is probing the circumstances under which the PFIPC, despite not being legally established, allegedly secured office accommodation in Phase 3 of the Federal Secretariat Complex in Abuja and received the budgetary allocation of 1.32 billion naira in the 2026 Appropriation Act. The committee chairman, Right Honorable Yusuf Gagdi, said Mr. Adeyemi's appearance had become imperative given the seriousness of the allegations and the institutions implicated in the matter, and subsequently directed its clerk to formally communicate its resolution to the Inspector General of Police. Education remains one of the most important investments in a child's future and a key driver of national development. However, rising inflation and increasing cost of living in Nigeria are making it more difficult for many families to afford quality education. As school fees and other educational expenses continue to rise, many parents are struggling to balance the cost of their children's education with other essential household needs. Akojopo FM News correspondent Angel Aluko engaged residents of Ibadan on the rising of tuition fees in Nigeria. Here is the report.
The rising cost of education especially in privately owned primary and secondary schools in Nigeria, has drastically reduced household purchasing power, transforming schooling into a heavy financial burden. Driven by inflation and the naira's depreciation, families face soaring tuition and other fees, including ICT, library, and medical charges across both private and public schools. According to the latest Consumer Price Index (CPI) report released by the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS), Nigeria's headline inflation rate rose to 15.38% in March 2026, up from 15.06% recorded in February. Many families say the combined burden of higher school fees, transportation costs, uniforms, books, and other essential supplies has become increasingly difficult to manage. Speaking with Agidigbo FM, Mrs. Dorcas Makinde explained the sacrifices many parents make to ensure their children remain in school despite the rising cost of school fees.
Sacrifices that parents make can be overemphasized, especially when we believe that education is the best service we can give our children. For me, I have to cut personal interests, things that I really want to do for myself personally. I had to forgo them to make sure that the fees are complete and are paid.
In an interview with Agidigbo FM, a teacher, Mr. Bamidele Samuel, explained that his school has introduced measures to reduce the financial burden on parents in recognition of the current economic realities.
Situated in an environment where we have the middle class, we have the high class, we have the lower class, and we are trying to accommodate everyone because we believe everyone should have a proper education.
Also speaking with Agidigbo FM, a principal, Mr. Iyanu Olaniyan, stated the school understands the economic challenges facing families and has provided flexible payment options to support parents.
There's a formal way of payment, which is 2 installments, at most 2 installments. But then, I am in Nigeria. Our parents, they are in Nigeria. I'm not talking from Canada, so I know what exactly is going on in Nigeria.
The rising cost of private schools continues to place significant pressure on Nigerian families, making access to quality learning increasingly challenging. While some schools are introducing flexible payment plans and cost reduction measures, many parents still struggle to meet educational expenses. The school should ensure that every child has access to education, regardless of their financial background.
For primary, secondary, and tertiary institution students, rushing to meet early morning lectures often means leaving home or the hostel without eating breakfast. While some consider it a matter of convenience, others say factors such as limited time, financial challenges, and personal choices influence their decision to skip the morning meal. What does this habit mean for students, and what do health experts have to say about it? Agidigbo FM News correspondent Cynthia Olakifemiwa examines why students skip breakfast before lectures and what habits could mean for their well-being. Here's the reports.
Fast is often regarded as the most important meal of the day, providing the body with the energy needed to begin daily activities. However, many students attend lecture without eating breakfast, making it a common habit on many campuses. Although students have different reasons for skipping breakfast, the habit has raised concerns about its possible effects on their health, concentration, and academic performance. Speaking with Agidigbo FM, students from different tertiary institutions shared whether they usually eat breakfast before lectures and how often they skip the meal. The students also explained the reasons they skip breakfast and the factors that influence their decision.
I say for me, mostly is laziness. Just wake up very early to cook. It's not easy. So just have to skip it because I'm lazy to stand up to cook.
A dietitian and nutritionist, Olushola Malomo, also shared a professional opinion on the habit of students skipping breakfast before lectures and explained its possible effects on their health and academic performance.
Breakfast is very important for a student because it helps concentration in class. It helps cognitive development. If you eat adequately, if you eat both the macronutrient and the micronutrient, you will see that such a student will have a higher capacity to absorb whatever he or she is being taught.
Nutrition experts say skipping breakfast occasionally may not have immediate consequences, but making it a regular habit can affect energy level, concentration, memory, and overall well-being.
But it's maybe due to early morning classes, or maybe you are this kind of person who doesn't eat early, something like me now. 1, early morning classes, and 2, I don't like eating early because if I'm going out, I won't eat early because I'll have stomach upset. Yeah.
As students continue to balance academic demands with their daily routines, the decision to eat or skip breakfast remains a personal one. However, understanding the importance of proper nutrition may help them make better choices. Cynthia Olakinfemiwa, Agidigbo FM News.
Now it is time to link up with our United Kingdom studio for the foreign news.
News from Parliamentary studio, Agidigbo FM. United Kingdom, I am Olushola Damilola, and the Boham has pledged to continue the UK's unwavering support for Ukraine during a meeting with President Volodymyr Zelensky. The Ukrainian president became the Prime Minister's first international visitor since he took office a week ago, which illustrates the strength of the relationship between the two nations. They both visited UK naval base, where Boham announced the sharing of the intellectual property behind the UK's new Stone Cloak electronic warfare system. The Stone Cloak jammers are the size of a tablet computers and are designed to block the detection of any drones. The Ministry of Defense has already given thousands of the devices to Ukrainian forces to bolster their drone operations. The two leaders also met more than 200 Ukrainian military personnel who have spent last 3 weeks taking part in a maritime exercise in the United Kingdom. Firefighters are tackling major wildfire in France and Spain, while more than 300,000 people have been evacuated across both countries, with many sleeping in sport hall or exhibition center. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has visited the emergency command center in Vosduso near Valencia, where the fire remains out of control. And that ends the news from Parliamentary studio at Agidigbo FM. United Kingdom, I am Olushola Damilola.
You're welcome back. We shall also be moving to our Maryland studio, United States, for more foreign news.
News from Kule Amzat studio, Agidigbo FM, United States. I am Oluwatosin Sonya. Iran said Monday that it remains in control of the Strait of Hormuz and is not seeking to restart peace talks with the United States after President Donald Trump halted a 2-week bombing campaign that military leaders reportedly told him had reached its limit. After 13 consecutive nights of escalating airstrikes that prompted Iran to retaliate by targeting U.S. bases, Trump suspended the campaign over the weekend. Tehran responded by saying it would pause its own attacks for as long as the United States maintains its ceasefire. News of the halt in military operations sent oil prices sharply lower on hopes that global energy supplies would stabilize. Brent crude, which briefly climbed above $100 per barrel last week for the first time since May, fell more than 8% by Monday morning to just under $89 per barrel. The official said military commanders advised the president that they were running out of viable target. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, also raised concerns about dwindling air defense munitions. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) is preparing to expand operations targeting Asian migrants for arrest and deportations as hundreds of thousands face the imminent loss of their legal protections, according to the internal planning document. The plans include stepped-up enforcement efforts in Ohio, home to large Asian communities, including Springfield, a city that became a focal point during the 2024 presidential campaign. President Donald Trump and other conservative figures repeatedly criticized the city's Asian community, with Trump amplifying false claim that Asian immigrants were eating household pets. The planned enforcement push comes as more than 300,000 Asians are set to lose temporary protection status (TPS), a program that shields eligible nationals from deportation and allows them to work legally in the United States. Last month, the U.S. Supreme Court backed the Trump administration's effort to end TPS protections for Asians and Syrians. The court's mandate is expected to take effect Monday, allowing lower courts to implement the ruling. And that ends the news from Kule Amzat Studio, Agidigbo FM, United States. I am Oluwatosin Sonya.
And now in the exciting world of sports. Midfielder Tony Payne has admitted the Super Falcons will be under pressure to retain their Women's Africa Cup of Nations title, but insists the team is fully focused on defending the crown in Morocco. The experienced midfielder was part of the Nigerian squad that captured a record-extending 10th WAFCON title and the 2024 tournament, which have now head into the 2026 edition as defending champions and favourites to lift the trophy once again. In addition to chasing a successful title defense, the Super Falcons are also bidding to secure qualification for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup, with the tournament serving as the African qualifiers. Tony Payne acknowledged the expectations surrounding the team as the Super Falcons will kickstart their campaign against Malawi come 9 p.m. on Tuesday in Morocco, but further expressed the confidence in the squad's ability to rise to the challenge and replicate their previous success. To wrap up the news this evening, here is a recap of the headlines. Federal government automates civil servant postings, leave, promotions. Ibadan residents express concerns over rising of tuition fees. Zelensky arrives United Kingdom ahead of meeting Prime Minister Bonham. ICE plans to target Haitians as temporary protected status set to end. Midfielder Payne targets back-to-back titles with Super Falcons. And before we go this evening, here's a quick tip. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Finally, we have come to the end of the news around the world on Agidigbo 88.7 FM Ibadan, the most listened to radio station. I am Wuraola Yusuf. Thank you for listening. Good evening.
News is information, and information is power. At Agidigbo 88.7 FM, we bring the news from top